The day I decided to enlist, I was actually in school at the University of Alabama at Birmingham, and I watched everything take place on 9/11, and that was enough to motivate me to drop out of school and enlist in the Army. Once I got in and I was wearing the uniform and was introduced to that camaraderie and the service and the training, I fell in love with it. The structure, everything about the military I fit into perfectly. My second deployment in 2005, I was in southwest Baghdad, known as the Triangle of Death. I was driving a Humvee with the headlights off, night vision goggles on, and what I didn't see in that road that night was a tripwire stretched across the road. It detonated a roadside bomb large enough that when it hit my door, it threw this 9,000-pound armored Humvee flying through the air and landed in a canal running adjacent to the road. I woke up 5 days later in a hospital, unaware of what was going on. It was news to me that I'd lost my arm and my leg and had severe injuries all over the rest of my body. As a teenager, my mom was always trying to talk me into joining the military. And then once I was in and we were going to war, I remember her getting nervous about that. Well, I explained to her that even though she was always pushing it, I didn't go because of her. And she was the one who explained to me as I laid in the hospital bed, unaware of my injuries, what had happened. I mean, she stood there and just listed them off. You lost your left arm above the elbow, your left leg above the knee. I had injuries to my right hand, severe injuries to my right leg. My jaw was shattered, my mouth was wired shut, and I had a trach. I remember her telling me, and my dad standing in the back of the room. I mean, it was bothering him because my father lost his arm when he was 18 working in a plant. He never expected something like that to happen to one of his own children. And one day I was complaining and I said, well, how am I gonna ever tie my shoes with one hand? And my mom, just no nonsense, was like, well, your dad does it. And she said, I'm sure it's not that hard, and just picks a shoe up and ties it the first try. I kicked the shoe off and I just said, Mom, I just want to have a moment. Will you get out? Because I just wanted to be angry about something. And she was like, no, this is easy. I had a full-length mirror in my bedroom, and every time I looked in it, all I saw were my injuries. And one day I was looking in that mirror and I saw how out of shape I'd gotten. And I realized I needed to quit concentrating on what I'd lost and concentrate on what I had left. One thing that I did have that was a constant in my life were my 3 kids. And it was when I realized that I was setting the example for them, of knowing that I was the father of these 3 children, motivated me every time I made a mistake, every time I screwed up, every time I tried to get better and fell flat on my face. It was the thought of them that got me back up and pushing a little bit harder each time. When I got back into fitness and then started pushing myself, with my injury and doing different obstacle course races, running a marathon, doing all those different things, I was just trying to do something for myself. And then it started this ripple effect. Now I'm able to shift that and use the visibility that I have, both with my injuries and just being in the public eye, that I can call attention to those invisible wounds. And because of that, the conversation of depression and treatment is brought up a lot of times when I go places and speak, and I am proud to talk about it. When I just decided to drop out of college and join the military, it was to serve my country, to serve others. And now I feel like I'm in a position where I'm still doing that. My kids are first, and then everyone else that I can affect from that is icing on the cake, and I take a lot of pride in that.